Today on the Scran line, I'm going to teach you guys how to make my deliciously moist buttermilk cornbread. This cornbread is a little bit more on the savory side, but you can definitely sweeten it up with a good, generous drizzle of honey. This recipe is incredibly easy to make. I want to show you just how easy right now. The first thing you will need to do for this recipe is actually prepare whichever dish you're going to be using to make your cornbread. Now, over here I have a non-stick pan, and over here is what I'll be using, which is a cast iron skillet. Now, I searched high and low for this and I finally found one, and the benefit to using this over a non-stick skillet is that you get nice crispy edges and a bottom to your cornbread. You won't necessarily get that with a non-stick skillet, but if you use either one of these, you want to make sure they're oven safe. A cast iron skillet is oven safe. You want to make sure that the non-stick skillet, if you're using one of these, is definitely okay to go in the oven, because the first thing I've actually done is preheated my oven to 220 degrees Celsius, and I'm going to pop this in there to heat up, and we're going to forget about it until we've finished our batter. I'm going to bring it out and show you what to do with it. The other thing I've done is actually put on some butter to melt on my stove, and I'm going to let that cool slightly to room temperature. Now, this recipe is so incredibly easy. You've basically got two lots of ingredients, your dry and your wet. Let's mix the dry first. So we're going to pop some flour into a medium-sized mixing bowl. Over here, I have some cornmeal. It might also be known as polenta. That's what we know it as in Australia. So if you're looking for it at Coles or Safeway, that's what it's going to be called. So in that goes, I've got some baking powder, popping that in there. A little bit of sugar, completely optional. This is not a sweet cornbread recipe. It is definitely on the savory side, but this is just going to add a slight sweetness and make it a little bit more tasty. A little bit of salt, just for some more flavor. And we're going to whisk these ingredients and we just want to combine them together. Let's set that aside. I'm going to grab a larger bowl and we're going to mix all of our wet ingredients. So we're going to add some buttermilk into this bowl, and I'm going to add an egg in here. Ooh, eggshell dropped. Now, this part is also completely optional, but I think it adds a little bit of extra flavor. I've got some creamed corn here. This is stuff that you find in a can. It's basically just mashed up corn. Again, it's gonna add a little bit of extra flavor. You're gonna see little bits of corn in your cornbread, which kind of teams with the theme. But if you don't wanna add this, you can leave it out. Let's whisk that up. Add your dry to your wet all at once. Now guys, keep in mind that this is actually technically kind of a cake more than an actual bread. So you don't want to overmix because you don't want to develop the gluten. So as soon as you can see that there are no dry ingredients showing, and it really doesn't take very long, like it pretty much almost looks like it's mixed. You want to stop mixing. The last thing we're going to do is actually add half of this melted butter to this mixture, and the other half we're going to reserve it. I'm going to show you what to do with it in a second. Let's whisk that in. That is your batter done. How easy was that? This recipe is great for your Thanksgiving meals. It's really easy to make. You can make it ahead of time, like in the morning, and have it ready for dinner or lunch. I'm going to pop this aside and grab my cast iron skillet. Now, obviously, this is really, really hot, so you want to be careful. Okay, you want to work quickly here because we're going to be pouring this butter in here, and as soon as we do, that is going to want to splatter everywhere. You just need to make your peace with it. Okay, here we go. Ready? Okey-doke. So we've got our butter in there. The really cool thing about this is that as you put your batter in, right, it kind of causes the butter to go kind of to the sides as you spread this out, and it's already crisping up the sides of your cornbread. So let's pop this quickly back in the oven and we're gonna let this bake. I'm gonna come back and try it. Hey guys, just jumping into the video to make sure you're enjoying this video. If you are, hit the like button and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date with all of my latest recipes. Back to the video. Oh my goodness, this smells so good right now. So this has been in the oven for about 20-25 minutes. And again, very careful because this entire thing is like blisteringly hot. But this is basically cooked, and you can see these little almost like burnt edges, but that's like the crispy flavor. I don't know about you, but I'm all about like the edges of things like lasagna, brownies, the edges are the best. Anyway, so this is gonna cool down for about 10 minutes. Then we are gonna pop a cooling rack on top, flip it over using these. You don't wanna let it sit in here to cool down, otherwise it'll take on a metallic flavor. Those crispy edges, I'm so excited to bite into this. You know what? How do you guys actually slice your cornbread? Because some people cut it like wedges, like a cake, but I thought of cutting it diagonal. Okay, let's see. Crispy edges. This is divine. Guys, this is definitely not an everyday food. It's actually really rich, but so delicious. I think it's great on its own. A little piece of salted butter on top wouldn't go astray. I'm more of a salty than a sweet person when it comes to bread and stuff. But you could like drizzle some honey on top, some whipped cream. You know, it's a fairly neutral flavor. This is so delicious. I hope you guys have enjoyed spending time with me in my kitchen today. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. If you want to grab the recipe, it's in the description box below. I have another video over there which is perfect for this time of the year. Above that is the subscription button. Whenever I taste stuff on screen, it's really hard to talk because I just want to bite into more. But I'm gonna get this done and then I'm gonna have some more of this. Over there, subscription box, free to subscribe. Thank you so much for joining me in my kitchen. I'll see you all on the next episode of the Scran line. Yum. Okay, bye.